Are you totally different when it comes to sex and copulation? Have you judged yourself out of receiving pleasure? Have you judged yourself into receiving pleasure in certain ways and excluded other ways? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here's the host of The Pleasure Zone, pleasure diva and body whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Pleasure Zone. For those of you who have been avid listeners, you might have noticed that my intro has changed, but it's going to change again next week because something about the sound of this one's just bugging me. So I'm going to have a new intro to the show next week. Yay! Similar, same words. The music's going to be a little less obnoxious. It's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it. So if you've been put off by the intro, guess what? It's going to be changed next week. Yes, it totally sounds like a robot, and it was driving me crazy. So I'm very glad it's changing. So welcome to The Pleasure Zone. What possessed you to choose this show tonight? I don't know. It's because you're awesome, let's face it. And this show is tonight's show, but every show on The Pleasure Zone, really, my target is to give you more awareness so you can have more pleasure in your body, life, business, all of it. So even if I might talk about bodies and sex a lot, a lot of what I'm talking about is completely translatable and relatable to your business, to your health, because none of these things are independent or exclusive to each other. So a lot of these tips and tools are completely intertwinable. So please keep that in mind, because I think a lot of people, when they listen to this show, they're like, yeah, it's just going to be about sex. And you can consider that it could also be about a lot of other things. Even my shows about blowjobs and anal sex can be related to a lot of other things. Just saying. For those of you who are not aware, I love puppets. That's a complete side note, but I have a little puppet show going on YouTube. By puppet show, it's more like, it's called Puppets for Consciousness, and Kiki, the main character, has fabulous, great ideas all the time that she likes to share with the world. In one of her most recent videos that she shared, she's doing some online dating. And she will be actually doing a series of online dating for both puppets and people, the difference between them, to assist in the dating world. So if you're somebody who's looking to get some tips on how to date, more consciously, using some tools that can assist you so that when you're, actually going online, you can find somebody you'd like to hang out with, check out Kiki, because she's going to have some fun stuff coming up in the next few weeks with her online dating adventures. And she also sometimes does some deep thoughts videos, and one of those recently was about sitting in a pile of poop. So she's very insightful. I learn a lot from Kiki the puppet. Even though I am the voice of Kiki, I still learn a lot from the voice of Kiki the puppet, being the voice and watching the videos repeatedly. I think I'm my best viewer. So, yay, I love Kiki. I wanted to let you guys know about Kiki because I don't talk about Kiki a lot on the show, and Kiki brings me a lot of pleasure. And Kiki's definitely not a whiner. She's a go-getter kind of gal who's looking for possibilities everywhere, always in the question and totally curious. And I love all those qualities about Kiki. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. And also, if you are somebody who enjoys social media, there is on Facebook, I have The Pleasure Zone as a radio. The Pleasure Zone Radio has a business page on Facebook, so you could follow me on there so you can get updates about upcoming shows. You can also subscribe to the newsletter on Inspired Choices Network. There's a newsletter, and you can if you subscribe to that, then you'll get a weekly update about what is on, not just my show, but every show that's coming up. So if you really like to know topics that are coming up, amazing, free, informative information for you to inspire you to create more awareness, go for it. All of the shows on this station are shows that you can come in and chat on the back end here. We have a chat room. We've also got call-in numbers, and you can Skype in. If it's something that you really like to do is kind of share your information, ask some questions, get online, be heard, call in. You can even become a guest, which is a great thing that we've got going on with Inspired Choices Network. So you can go also online to the inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and you can click on the home page to become a guest. You can also click on to become a host. If you love the shows on the station and you're like, hey, wonder what it would be like to become a host, send in a request to get more information about hosting on the station, because for me, this is like, I'm over 120 shows. I'm over 2.5 years in to this, and this new platform and new station that we've been on for the last 2 weeks for me has created such an amazingly new energy, and it's created more enthusiasm for me. I feel like really excited to be creating shows for you guys, for you listeners out there. And if there are any topics that I haven't touched on that you're interested in, that you'd like more information on, that you'd like me to investigate or talk about or explore, please feel free to write to me. You can write to me on social media. You can write to me through my website, milicajelenic.com. That's my name. If you find it on Inspired Choices Network, it's milicajelenic.com. You can send me a letter through my website. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting random notes from listeners. It so makes my day and makes creating this program, these shows, so worth it. I was actually watching this PBS thing during the New Year's days. I was on my honeymoon, but my husband was sick, so I was watching PBS, and they were doing their calls to get support. And I was like, you know what, I really like that. So I really like the ask of support. It can be a little annoying when they stop your favorite show every 20 minutes to get you to support them. But you know what? If you guys would like to send messages, emails, I love it. I love hearing from you guys, and that actually inspires me to create more. And the very fun thing, too, is if you do love my show and you would love to put your energy into it or contribute to the show in any way, there are spaces available for you to advertise. You can either advertise with visual ads or with audio ads. So if you are curious and would like to actually advertise and contribute your energy to the show, contributing energy to your own business in any way, whether you're an entrepreneur or you own a giant business, either way, you are invited to be part of this, and I would love to contribute to you and get you seen and get you out there. And so write to me and we can discuss some options. So, wow, I'm just on a rant and a roll today, and I really actually will get to the topic of how not to wine and dine. And I've kind of am touching on this, and part of it for me is to ask instead of complain. So I'm asking you guys, if you would like to advertise on my show, I would love that. If you would like to call in, I love that. If you would like to write, I love it. Please do. I invite it. So being and requesting and asking are completely different than complaining and whining and, being manipulative through drudgery. So have you ever noticed for you that when you actually ask a question or say make a request? Here's an example. Say for example, your child, you've asked your child to go clean their room or something, and you're like, hey, can you just clean up your room? That'd be really great. And instead of them, here would be the complaining, whining child would be like, I don't want to. I shouldn't have to. Why do I have to? I don't like it. I don't know how to. I don't want to. So that's the complaining energy. And then you could have the other kid who would be like, hey, if I don't do it today, is it okay if I do it tomorrow? Would you be okay with helping me? Because I could use some help. We're not really trained to ask, to be quite frank. We're trained to whine. We're trained to whine, and we think it's going to get results. Now, what do you think is going to get more results with the universe? Whining like a crazy little beep, or asking some questions, requesting? Instead of going, universe, why aren't you giving me what I want? Universe, why? How come I have to wait 5 hours for the thing I asked for? Universe, I don't like you anymore. Universe. And you get into this nasty, little whiny twit phase. That's an awareness, not a judgment. Whiny twit is an awareness, by the way. So you could either get into whiny twit, or you could be like, universe, hi. So I could really use some assistance here, and this is what it would look like. So you can ask the universe, this, in terms of this is what it would look like. I would like some assistance with my business. That's what I mean by this is what it would look like. I would like some assistance with my relationship. The funny thing is we're often willing to ask the universe for assistance with money, with material things. Sometimes you'll ask the universe to bring you a man, but you won't often ask the universe to assist you in maintaining the relationship. So for those of you out there who are kind of going through some stuff and you might be like, why isn't this relationship working? Oh my God, and you find yourself in whiny mode, start asking the universe to contribute to the creation of and the maintenance of your relationship, the growth and maintenance of your relationship. A lot of times we don't do that. So it's I like the notes in the background. If for those of you who do join us later in the chat room, or if you're listening in the future, some of the notes in the chat room are keeping note of the things that I've said, like whining is the least fun way to be manipulated. For me, it is. I have to say, I would much prefer to be manipulated with questions like, hey, would it be fun to help me do that? I like that kind of manipulation. I'm not into the, whining for me is like nails on a chalkboard. When I hear, it's like the person's mouth doesn't even have to open, but I know the whining is about to start. It's revving up, and you're like, okay, here comes the whining. Oh my God. And it's like nails on the chalkboard, and my whole body contracts, and I'm like, ugh. So for me, a lot of whining that I'm aware of comes from a lackluster universe. There's nothing about having joy or expansion in your world when you're in a whiny twit mode. So how about instead of doing the lack, because you know what? We do it in so many ways. Have you ever whined about your relationship not working well? Have you ever whined about the lack of money, about a lack of business, about lack of health or talent? I don't have any talent, but so-and-so does. Wah, wah, wah. Lack of ideas, lack of connections. If you are actually the person who is insisting on maintaining a lack universe by creating all kinds of things to whine and complain about, and you like the lack universe, you can live in it, but do not think that I am going to come and live there with you. I have for most of my life lived in the lack universe, and for me it smells like a rotten dump of sewage and rotting meat, and I'm not interested in sitting around in a smelly stink bomb universe. I much prefer to move my ass on over to a much lovelier universe where there's possibilities, where people aren't whining, they're asking questions, they're looking for what else is possible, instead of going to the assumption of, this is the worst day ever, I hate this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whining is funny. It's a funny thing, and I'm aware that I avoid it. Are you aware that you might avoid it too? Because how many of us have been told, "Don't be a whiner. That's awful and terrible and wrong." And when you were whining as a kid, you were maybe spanked upside the bum or stopped, or I don't know. My father was a little more active, so I got a little spank on the bum. Stop whining. So, good times. But I'm wondering, and I'm going to leave you guys with this thought as I go to break. I'm wondering if you're willing to be a whiner. There's a little jab in your universe. Enjoy that as we go to commercial break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight we're talking about how not to wine and dine. And sometimes the beauty of how not to do something is to actually fully be it and choose it. So, I was asking before break, are you willing to be a whiner? Not just a whiner and diner, a whiner and diner extraordinaire, the kind of whiner that people will put labels on and go, "You're the number one whiner in the universe." You have a winery that is so well established, people from around the world will come and see how much of a great whiner you are. I'm a big fan of, if you are going to be anything, be freaking awesome at it. Really intensely awesome at it. So, if you're going to be a whiner, bring yourself fully and completely up and be that well-established winery. So, here is my idea, okay? My idea is that, if you whine really intensely, whining and whining, there's something going on here that's very similar. Just like a fine wine that you would drink, if you allow it to age and you kind of add a little something to it, give it a little texture, depth, flavor, it becomes something that you can consume, and then it's gone. So, here's my idea. What if whining could just be like whining? So, I wonder, are you willing to, when you notice that you're either resisting somebody else's whining or you're resisting being a whiner yourself, instead of resisting it, would you be willing to fully embrace it like a crazy person? Because we're a little crazy. So, Get yourself into a full-on whining mode. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like the way that my towels are folded. Can't you fold my underwear right? I used to have this thing. I would yell at my mother when I was a kid. I had OCD habits about how my clothes were folded, and it would actually irk me to my core if my shirts were folded in a certain way that she folded them. And now, ironically, I fold like that because it's just way faster. I like them folded the way they were in the store, and that was from like the age of like 6. And I would find my clothes on my bed, and I would just say, like, don't fucking fold my clothes. I hate how you fold them. Instead of being like, thank you for folding my clothes, I'll put them away, I was like, don't fucking do that. It's driving me crazy. And I would get in complete, like, it would irk my universe, and I would turn into a whiner, complainer, and just I would sometimes go ballistic. I did break furniture as a kid. Things would just get to me so much. So, I was also told, like, stop whining and stop complaining. Now, on the other hand, if I actually had somebody who was like, okay, you're whining, and were in total allowance of me whining, I probably would have changed that faster. So, would you be in allowance of you first being a whiner? And how do you do that? So, if in relationship you're with somebody and they're not giving you what you want, I suggest you get into your whiny bitch costume. Get into that costume you wear to your winery, and get on your garb. You can, sometimes for fun, it can be even fun to men and women, both of you, can put on excessive amounts of lipstick. Cover your lips like you did when you were 3, when you didn't know how to do lipstick and you stole your mother's lipstick. And I know I'm not the only one who did that. Put on your crazy lipstick. Sit in front of that mirror and whine your freaking head off. I don't like this, and I don't like that, and be really good at it. Be an amazing whiner, and get it out of your system. Just really embrace the whining, and give yourself a timer. Do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and when you're doing the whining, fully be intense with it. Do it to the extreme. Whine about everything, even down to like the shape of your toenails if you want. Like, whine about all of it. Get it out of your system. Get all of it out of your system. And then, guess what? Stop it and get on with your day. Originally, my show was going to be stop it. And then I realized, well, that's just going to be about 5 seconds. So I had to come up with some other stuff. So I did. I came up with some other stuff. Embrace your whining. Embrace your whine. Let it be fully embodied. Let it be fully flavored. Let it be something that's been, satin for years, and it's just been growing flavor, and then you go and you're like, that's my whining. Awesome. And it sniffs that out a bit. Oh, yeah, I got a lot of different elements in that wine. Awesome. And then consume it. Consume it like the drunk you are on whining. You know what? Some people, I swear, instead of actually just fully consuming their own whining, they just consume a lot of wine, or alcohol of any sort. So instead of consuming all the alcohol, just whine to yourself in a mirror. Not everybody really wants to hear you whine. I have to say, like, for me, whining is like nails on the chalkboard. However, if you are in allowance of yourself being a whiner, like if I was in allowance of me being a whiner, chances are other people's whining wouldn't bother me so much. So, my challenge to me, my challenge to you, is when the whining comes up in your world and you notice it, you see it, just go for it. And when somebody else is doing the whining and they're like expecting you or desiring you to be present with their whining, and you have the capacity to be present through the whining, you can just say, you know what, stop it. I'm not interested in listening to it. That's one way. Or you could just be space. So how do you be space? If this is your first time to this show, I have a lot of past programs that facilitate you on being space. The quick and easy way is be space. So that's my quickest, easiest way. What? Okay. Or you can contact me and I can send you a little something, a little exercise on being space. We won't do that in this show, but I have exercises. If you'd like one, I will mail it to you. But that means you're going to have to contact me. that means you're going to have to get brave enough to send me a little email, a little message on Facebook, a little pat on the head when you see me in person, something. Okay, awesome. So, fully embrace your whining. Yeah. How about that? If you allowed your children to fully embrace their whining, bet your bottom dollar, because I saw Annie on Netflix and was thinking I should watch it, but maybe I could watch it, and bet your bottom dollar came up in my head. So I bet that chances are, if you allowed people in your life to whine, they'll stop it. But if you're in resistance to their whining and complaining, they will go on and on and on, and chances are nothing will change for them and nothing will change for you. And so how about be an allowance of their whining? Be an allowance of your whining, number one. Be an allowance of their whining, number two. And what could that change? If you just sat there as they're, doing their thing, because some people just need a sounding board, and you can even ask, like, hey, do you just need a sounding board? Sometimes people are not looking for advice. They're just looking for a sounding board. Can you be that? Can you just be like, there, be space, be a sounding board? And the whole time you can be in the mantra of, interesting point of view, you have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have the point of view that you have that point of view. Interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I know, and I have seen it in action. That is some kind of crazy, amazing tool that I literally changed stuff from my life that I was dealing with in therapy for 16 years. Literally changed it in 4 minutes with interesting point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view. Changed it, changed my reality, changed the other person's reality, and has created so much more kindness and ease between me and the other person. So don't use it if you want more ease. Just keep whining, complaining, because that'll create more for you, right? That always does. Whining and complaining, that's obviously the go-to, so it must work. But have you seen people get any results with it? On occasion, people will whine as a manipulation. And, for people who have it, so for example, if somebody's whining to me and my automatic response is, this is like nails on a chalkboard, chances are, for survival purposes, I'll go into anything to try and stop the whining. I might go into laughter, jokes. I might go into shut up and go away. I might do a lot of things. I might even go, oh my God, I'm so sad for you. I'm going to help you because I know how to, because I'm a superior bitch and I know more than you do. Let me give you the answers to the entire universe because I'm so smart, because I'm really cute and I'm really wise, and so are you. So, how much fun can you have allowing people to just whine it up? Whine it up, darling. Whine it up. Whine it and grind it. And maybe if you whine and grind at the same time while staring in the mirror with your excessive amount of lipstick over your lips up onto your nose, and you're whining and grinding, I think this is going to create quite a situation that could be hilarity. You might not even get into the whining. You might just start laughing at your wiggly butt moving and your crazy ass lipstick on your face, in your face because you're looking in the mirror. You might just go, yeah, what am I complaining about? I'd be so ridiculous that none of that matters. Are you willing to actually be so ridiculous that you could change your whining? So have some fun with that. Yes, you could end up in the psych ward, and how much fun can you have with that? So if you're doing it on your own and you don't have, cameras rolling in the house that are doing like live feeds to Facebook or something, I think you're going to be okay. Just for you, just for fun, whine like a maniac for 5 or 10 minutes. Get it out of your system like the, you can move energy really fast. I was going to say like the toxic, but maybe it's not toxic. It's just another energy that if we truly embrace it can contribute to our lives. But the refusal of it is actually what's creating the toxicity. Interesting. Thank you, listeners, for letting me tap into your brains so that I could get that information out to you. That's wonderful. So, we're actually going to head to an awesomely fantastical break because the breaks on this show and commercials are phenomenal. Enjoy that, and when we come back, more about whining.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight the topic is how not to wine and dine. Wine with an H, but really, I know there's so many times where I've been on dates or whatever, and because I'm such a dating addict. Now, back in the day when I dated, I remember I was dating a guy who was actually really kind, but I was a real ass at the time, and I was in my early 20s at the time, and he would like go out of his way to be extra kind. Both of his parents worked for chocolate factories, so he would come visit me at university, which was like a 4-hour drive for him. He would come and visit pretty regularly and give me like bags of chocolate, like full to the brim, like, you know, every kind you can imagine. And you know what I would say? I can't eat all that chocolate. I don't like that fruit and nut. Like, or if I didn't say it out loud, that's certainly the energy I was being. I was being a real ass about it. And it took me a while to like looking back on that relationship, I realized how much I refused to receive from him. And what a great unkindness that was. Incredibly he was willing to give to me, but I wasn't willing to receive. So I kind of trained him in a way out of being a giver. I kind of trained him into just like I guess it was abusive, looking back on it. So whining can, you know, if the people aren't aware of what's going on, whining can change the dynamic in a relationship to the point where, you know, the other person, if they really like want to be with you, they'll start to accommodate you, and they'll often step into your universe. What often happens is that whining has this like sort of a vibration to it that we're all familiar with, even if we don't like it. Joy and exuberance has a different vibration, but it's a little less familiar. So when you're with somebody who's maybe joyful and you're not at a place where you can receive it, you might ramp up your whining. So in ramping up your whining, the person who's trying to be joyful and exuberant, they really just want to be with you. So what they end up doing is jumping into your universe. Like they start to be part of your universe of misery, sadness, and complaints, rather than, because a lot of people don't know how to kind of have their own back, stand in their own, be them so intensely, be the energy of them so intensely that they become the invitation to you stepping into something greater. So for all of you out there who encounter a lot of whiners in your life, would you be, and you're not sure what can I do, it's not about like faking necessarily happiness, but would you be willing to be so intensely present that they either can't escape themselves, they can't escape you, and you're acknowledging seeing them, which a lot of complainers just want to be heard and seen, and be told they're right, so, and that whatever they're experiencing is right and correct. So would you be willing to be so intensely present with them that they feel acknowledged? So, it can be a practice, being present, especially if something's like irking you. The more something irks you, the more you probably are that. So what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be whatever it is that irks you for all eternity? Oh, there's so much in there. Sorry about that. Let's bring it down to whining. What energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be the whiny whiner you truly be? And everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all. Right, rock, good, bad, pock, pot, all that, shorts, boys, and beyond. If you are wondering, like, what is that thing that she just said? Oh my God. Why would I want to be a whiner? Why would she ask us to be the energy of being a whiner? Whatever you're refusing choosing or refusing being dynamically is usually where you have a limitation. I say usually because everything is mutable, right? So usually there's a limitation there. And if you're willing to have all of you, that includes the whiny bitch part. That includes the superior ass. That includes the competitive person. That includes the sweetie pie, the naive person. It includes all of these like traits and qualities. You are not one thing. You are so many things. And the parts of you that you're refusing the most, the parts of you that you judge the most, are the parts that if you start to be willing to embody those, be those, you can change things so fast, it's fracking amazing. So I give you this. What energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be the whiny whiner you truly be? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Get in that mirror, stare at it, look in it, get that crazy ass lipstick on, and just whine about it. And you could, if you don't even know what you're whining about, but you're a whiner and a complainer and you'd like to change something about it or become aware of it because you have resistance to it, put on that crazy lipstick and start doing that in the mirror. What energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to be the whiny whiner I truly be? Whiny whiner wino I truly be? Let's throw that in there. Maybe we're winos too. Where am I refusing being a wino? That if I were to be a wino, I wouldn't be a whiner. Everything that is, destroy and uncreate it all. Why did that clearing work? Anyway, that was bizarro. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that, and holy God, I'm going to do that one a few more times because I'm feeling a little wonky zone. What energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be, and can you and your body be to be the whiny, whiner, winos we truly be? Everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate at all times, the Godzillion. Right about good, bad, pock, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. You guys might be like, why is she yawning on her show? She must be tired. Not tired. That's just me and how energy moves out of my body. So, what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your bodies be? To be the whiny, whiner, winos you truly be. And everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pock, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Hey, what's that crazy speak I was just saying? Right, that's crazy speak, and it clears energy. It's magic. You can check it out on theclearingstatement.com if you want more information, or just enjoy me going through this over and over again and see what shifts in your world. You can actually replace the whiny, whiner, wino with anything. If you're like, I really don't like people who do competition, be like, what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to be the competitor I truly be? Very funny and fun sometimes, especially when we refuse it dynamically. And what else are you refusing, receiving, and how is that coming out through your whining? Because whining is an amazing thing that can create so much awareness for you about what you are rejecting and refusing. And for other people too. So, if you are somebody who facilitates, would you let people whine for 5 minutes, get their story out about what's going on? I know a lot of people are like, don't tell the story, don't buy the story. It's not about buying the story. It's like, how can you utilize the story to facilitate change and create something different? So sometimes the whining will give you certain things will jump out in their universe that when they're whining, you can go, cool. Would you like to change that? And sometimes they truly do. And some whiners are professionals, and they'll be in the whiny whiner zone, and they'll be like on a rant, and you might go, would you like to change that? And this will be like during a facilitation or something. So, but I'll still often ask, would you like to change that? And the person's like, no, wait, I need to tell you more. A lot of people have a lot of intense whining built up, and they'd like to get it all out before you actually change it. They think if they don't give you the entire story from babyhood or in another lifetime to now, that it just won't be covered. But you know what? Sometimes there is something that can be changed, and it will actually create change for the rest of the story. So, you can let the person whine their heart out, and if they'd like to change it, cool. If they don't, would you be willing to be an allowance of them? Interesting point of view. You have that point of view. Interesting point of view. Whining is just a point of view. It's just a choice. It's not a wrongness either. What can it create for you? Just because, I had an aversion to it, which I already get is changing through this show, which is very cool. I love when I facilitate myself through you guys, to me, whatever that is. Love it. So what if whining could become fun? Like that whole thing in the mirror, the lipstick. How much fun can you have whining your heart out intensely, dramatically, with all kinds of gusto and different accents even, for 5 to 10 minutes intensely? If you whined in a Jamaican accent, would it be even funner? If you whined with an Italian thing, or if you whined with a lisp, or if you whine in sign language. I don't know enough sign language to whine in sign language, but God, wouldn't that be fun to even whine in sign language? I guess there'd be a lot of fingers, or middle fingers to the universe or something. But that'd be fun, actually. How much fun could I have whining in sign language? I wonder. I could invent my own sign language to whine in. That could work. So, what way would you like to whine that would be the most effective whine possible? Everybody makes wine differently, and you too can express your wine out of those grapes in any way that you would like. So have fun with that. And yes, I think my hands would go limp when I do whining and sign, and they just start to get tired because there's so much to get out. Or maybe they get strengthened if you're a superior whiner and you're one of those top-notch world expert whiners and you whine all the time in sign. You might have really strong hands. Could probably crack open walnuts, Just a thought. I have crazy, amazing thoughts in my life. I'd like to wonder, too, half the time when you are whining, what are you whining about? What's your major whine? And one of those things to really explore, what are the things that I whine about? What's my top things? If I allowed myself to whine, what would I whine about? What are they? And then you know what? When you have a little list going, then you can do the whining in the mirror, you can get clear on what it is that you're refusing receiving, what you're refusing changing, what you're refusing having, being, all of that, through a little, what am I whining about? What would I like to whine about list? So we're going to head off to commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up our fabulous show on how not to whine and dine when we come back.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight our show is How Not to Wine and Dine. And for those of you who are just catching up with us now, this show's been both fun, hilarious, and I've actually gained a lot of awareness from it, and I might have actually changed some of my own resistance to whining on this show. So I love when stuff like that shows up because, hey, facilitating the world and receiving as well is phenomenal. It's very fun. So I wonder too about the whining, like what do you whine for? So before we went to break, I was asking, what are you whining about? What do you actually, if you allowed yourself to whine, what would you whine about? And also, do you whine because you'd like to be heard? Do you just want people to hear you and so you'll talk about anything and figure that if you whine enough, that'll be engaging somehow? Do you like to hear your own voice? If you do, I know that having a radio show, for me, I hear my own voice way more than I ever did. I actually had a resistance to hearing my voice before I had a radio show. I really didn't like the sound of it. And now I might actually re-listen to this show because I think I channeled most of it, and some of it I don't even remember half of it, so very fun. So, whining whiners, listen to your own voice because you know what? It could be changing something. And if you think you don't like listening to your own voice, then I laugh at you. I laugh in your general direction because the chances are you just want to be heard. But you're like, no, I don't like my own voice. I don't like how I sound. And you're probably the same person who talks for like 12 hours straight a day. No, but I really don't like how I sound. But yeah, I'll just talk forever. Yeah, that cracks me up. So I love denial. Denial cracks me up, and I love that in myself, because I crack myself up. I'm like, man, am I ever good at hiding stuff? If I was playing hide and seek, I'd win. I'd win on hiding stuff for me because I'm professional. And and how much fun can we have not being professional hiders of stuff from ourselves? So that's where that's at. So if whining is creating more for you, I applaud you. I congratulate you, and I say, whine on, my friend, whine on. And if whining is not creating more for you, maybe this show has given you some tips and tools on how to have some awesome fun changing the whole situation that you've got going with whining, or with people in your life who are whiners, having more allowance, acknowledging that you might be a whiner, the energy, space, and consciousness of being the whiny, whiner, wino you truly be. Whine on. That's right. That is a good t-shirt, and maybe we'll create some of those. Thank you, Carol, for that acknowledgement. I will send that off. Whine on. Sometimes I say stuff, and it actually must be channeled through some brilliant being, because I don't know if that's me. But if it is me, kudos to me. Awesome. So to wrap this up, I wanted to mention the difference between complaints and requests. Because some people think that they're requesting, but what they're really doing is complaining. Oh, did you know there's a difference? Okay, complaining is, I don't like this, it's not good enough. Complaints are full of judgments, full to the brim, and they overflow with judgment. There are many judgments that spill over, they spill onto people, they create stickiness, wetness, weirdness, there's slop, and then there's often a stain. So, the crazy thing about having too much of anything is that, you know what, is there actually too much of anything? But maybe there are too many judgments, but complaints are full of judgments, just like an overspilling glass of wine, just full of whining. Full of it creates the stain in the end. I don't know if you like stains. If you do, keep complaining and having your glass fill over with judgments. If you don't like complaining so much, if you don't like the stains and you'd like to pull back on the complaining, how about instead of complaining, universe doesn't give me what I want, why does it give it to so-and-so, and why does so-and-so have more than what I have, and why do I have to do this, and why do I have to do that? So instead of that, what if you start asking, hey, universe, you know what? Okay, I just would like to know, is there anything required from me to actually have the things I desire? Universe, I'd like to have this. I'd like to have that. I'd like to. A friend of mine has this, my friend Christine McIver just loves saying, up your ask. I love that. And up your ask instead of whining. How much more fun can you go up your ask? No, up your ask. So start asking the universe. Actually, you can get some up your ask items. There's like backpacks and t-shirts of up your ask through Inspired Choices. I could get you a link through my friend Christine, who has fabulous all kinds of items to up your ask. It's a great reminder. Instead of whining, up your ask. Because you know what? The universe will bring in all its energetic minions to get everything in place for you to receive your ask. Chances are you'll receive it in this lifetime too. Chances are if you order now from the universe, likely in this lifetime you will receive that request. Chances are that if you order anything from the universe in this lifetime, that it may not show up exactly as you ordered it. So just be aware when the universe does deliver packages, it delivers it in its own time, in its own packaging. Are you willing to receive the package the universe has brought you, or will you complain when it comes to the door and whine, I wanted it in brown packaging with sparkles. I can't believe the universe brought it to me in pink packaging with green sparkles. F you, universe, you suck. Instead, you could be like, hey, cool, universe, I like your new idea. Like this new packaging. Thank you so much for contributing to me. So it's about changing your attitude, your smatitude. That's about changing your point of view if you'd like to. It's about creating a different reality for you, only if you want to. But if you like complaining, keep doing it if you're getting the results you like. So why not, my friends, if that's what you'd like. And join me again next week for another very exciting episode of The Pleasure Zone.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.